Okay, Hall's Mills. We have the Reverend Hall is messing with this gentleman's wife, and it's been rumored about town. People even see him sneaking off in little places, and it's gotten so bad that they're sneaking out in the middle of the night, not even being slick about it. They're not even. It's not in the middle of the night. They're not even trying to hide it no more. It's like, hey, yo, I'm going up to the church. Go up to the church and then slip away somewhere. And so now we got the partners that show up to those places like he's been gone long, she's been gone long, so we got to double check. I gotta go out and look for my wife. I gotta go out and look for my husband, only to find out where they said it was gonna be. It probably would have been a problem to catch them where they said they were gonna be anyway, but it made it even worse for us to show up and not catch them there. But they saw each other, like the partners saw each other there, and apparently, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Mr. Hall was like, yo, I'm just gonna head to the house and call it and wait for her to come home, and then I'm gonna ask her. And then First Lady Hall was like, oh, okay, you do that. You know what I'm saying? You do that. Or Mr. Mills, I'm sorry. But First Lady Hall was like, yeah, you do that. Go ahead and go home. You go ahead and go home, because I already got something right here. I got some letters right here. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a talk. I ain't ready to go home just yet. And so that's where I think we at.
On the night of the murder, this was confirmed by his two children and a neighbour who told police that he had complained about the noise Mr. Mills was making. There was also no evidence that could place him at the scene. However, Mr. Mills had said that he went to the church before he went to bed, and again in the early hours of the morning in search of his wife. He went back at 9 a.m, where he bumped into Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall, and she told him that her husband had also failed to come home. Miss Charlotte Mills told...
Oh wait, yo, y'all left and didn't come home? That's why. Oh, wait a minute. Yo, either they didn't come home because she got to them first and she showed up for an alibi at the church, or, you know what I mean, y'all didn't come. Well, nah, she probably got to him first. That's probably why.
Officers that on the day her mother had disappeared, she had discussed the possibility of divorce with her. Witnesses came forward who had seen Mrs. Eleanor Reinhardt Mills alone in the Russes Lane on the evening of Thursday the 14th of September. Reverend Edward Wheeler Hall had also been seen there at 9 p.m. The police also learned that Mrs. Mills had
I knew it was around like 8 o'clock or something like that. I knew it. Because I was like, yo, if they're out in the middle of the night, it has to be a reasonable time period. So I'm thinking about 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. to where it wouldn't be too bad to where it's like, yo, I know you're not trying to leave at 1 o'clock in the morning. But if I leave at 8, if we leave at 8, or 9 is a little late for that time period. Even still, like 9 is a little late. But if you say, yo, I left something at the church, he knows, her husband knows she's lying. And then, First Lady Mills knows that he's lying. Yeah, they already knew you were lying.
Phoned the Hall household twice that evening without managing to get through to the Reverend. The investigation, however, did not seem to be progressing, so by late October, it was put in the hands of Special Prosecutor Wilbur A. Mott. The focus then shifted from Mr. Mills to Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall. She was a serious-looking woman with an outwardly calm demeanour. Investigators wondered if she had known about her husband's infidelity and, believing he was about to leave her, had both her husband and the woman she considered responsible for his betrayal.
Correct.
They speculated that she may have done this in order to preserve her social standing and avoid public humiliation. When questioned, however, she maintained...
Nah, it has nothing to do with... That might be a little bit, you embarrassing me, but it's a disrespect. You disrespect me. I didn't have to take you in. I know you come from some middle class, maybe family, but I got money. You're not going to disrespect me like that. I'm a high value woman. I'm a high class woman. And you're not going to sit here and spit in my face and disrespect me. I probably told you, yo, watch what you're doing. Don't disrespect me. And he's going to do it anyway. And you play me for a fool. You leaving at 9 o'clock at night. You're going to run up here and not come home. You're going to show it. You're going to try to come through here. What you if I had not gone anywhere to try to come find you, you would have came in at 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, had I not went out to try to find you, and then would have been talking about, oh, I just got lost late in thought at the church. I was trying to study for the sermon on Sunday, and I just did, the Lord was dealing with me. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying, he was probably coming home telling her lies like, oh, I just got lost in the spirit and I was praying and this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. And yeah, man, that's why I'm here at 2:00. And she was like, yo, I've heard this story before and I know you lying. So-and-so told me that, that she saw you across town. And so this is what I'm saying. People saw these two walking down that same road. And she's like, yo, you playing me for a fool.
Her innocence and presented a solid alibi to counter the accusations. She claimed that on the night of the murder, she was home, and this was confirmed by her maid, a young lady named Louise Geist. The police were not convinced by this story and continued to investigate. But not only Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall, they also investigated her brothers, Henry and William. Henry was a reclusive character who had a reputation for erratic behaviour, and William was known to have intellectual disabilities. And of course, both had potential motives to protect their sister's honour and their shared family name. Witnesses had come forward who said that they had seen them not far from the crime scene on the night of the murder, and their actions following the discovery of the bodies were considered suspicious.
Okay.
Nonetheless, the lack of concrete evidence and the fact that they were from a prominent family of wealth and high social status complicated the efforts to build a strong case against them.
Of course.
Although the police had not made any arrests, the Hall Mills case, as it had been dubbed by the press, had become known nationwide. Newspapers across the country provided daily updates and sensational accounts of the investigation, the scandalous details of the affair.
And she could have taken her brothers with her. Hey, yo, so-and-so, come go with me. Because I know she's probably been going to the house telling them, about what's been going on. So she's like, hey, yo, come run with me. I think I know where they're going. I've seen them go there several times. I wonder if Reverend Hall and Miss Mills went there several times enough to where it was reasonable to believe that that's exactly where he was going. Either that or they rode around town in several different places where he was likely to be. Because if you go out to hang with her, it's probably going to be 2 hours easy without even knowing it. You done got in there, y'all done embraced, and you in the throes of passion, fast. And time just, it is what it is. If you're an adult, it is what it is. Time can fly. And you be like, dang, it feels like 45 minutes, which is reasonable, but actually is you look up if you got a timepiece or a time or a watch on, you look at your watch and you're like, dang, it's been 2 hours. Yeah. So she said, hey, probably told her brothers, hey, yo, come run with me.
Between Reverend Hall and Mrs. Mills, coupled with the gruesome nature of their murder, completely captured the public's imagination. A lady came forward who emerged as a pivotal but controversial witness. Her name was Mrs. Jane Gibson, who the press gave the name Pig Woman due to her occupation as a pig farmer. Her account of what happened that night added intrigue to an already sensationalised case. She told officers that she was awoken on the 14th of September by the sound of raised voices. She said that she went outside to see what was going on and saw 4 figures in the darkness. One was a woman in a long coat, who she later identified to be Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall. According to Mrs. Gibson, she heard a heated argument and saw a man fall to the ground after being shot. She also heard a woman shout, "Don't," before more gunshots rang out. She then said that she saw the woman fall to the ground. The investigation into the murder of Reverend Edward Wheeler Hall and Mrs. Eleanor Reinhardt Mills had been led by Joseph E. Stricker, but the authorities believed that there was not enough evidence to charge anyone. Following this, the investigation was scaled down, leaving the case unsolved and shrouded in mystery. Over the next 4 years, public interest in the case persisted, but it wasn't until 1926 that the next significant development surfaced. This occurred when Mr. Arthur Reel, who in 1924 had married Louise Geist, Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall's maid, filed for divorce. Mr. Reel.
It ain't shrouded in nothing. You know what it is, but because they got money, you can't do too much. You got to let it go. You know who it is, and you try to push as far as you can push. But that money came back and said, stop what you're doing. Stop where you're at. Don't come no further. Her family probably obviously being prominent, probably being contributors in the city and whatnot. So you got to stop where you're at if you want to keep receiving funding and being able to do your job. That's what I'm saying. Woke up to raised voices and some shouting. And that's why I'm saying the husband probably went first. He probably got hit first because I already know I'm done with you. But Miss Mills went second. She got hit second because it's like, I already know I'm done with my husband. I need to talk to you. That's what we got some stuff to talk about. Because I want to look in your face. And I want to express to you, you done messed up.
claimed that his wife had told him that her mistress knew that her husband was planning to leave her and ran off with Mrs. Eleanor Mills. According to his statement, Mrs. Stevens Hall, accompanied by her two brothers, confronted the couple late on Thursday, September the 14th, 1922, into Russ's Lane. The brothers then killed both in order to protect their sister's honour. He added that his wife had been paid to keep silent about these events. When these allegations reached the press, it reignited suspicion and speculation surrounding the case. Although Mrs. Louise Reel dismissed this as nonsense, her husband's remarks and the press coverage that followed caught the attention of Governor A. Harry Moore, prompting him to order a second investigation. This decision marked a turning point in the case, as a renewed effort began to uncover the truth and bring justice to the victims. Eventually it was decided that there was enough evidence to prosecute Mrs. Frances Stevens Hall, along with her brothers, Mr. Henry and Mr. William Stevens. Another family member was also initially charged.
Yeah, so this is her with the glasses on. Yeah, she's a bit older. And a little less attractive than Miss Mills. Yeah.
Named Henry Carpenter. However, he never faced court. He'd only ever emerged as a suspect due to his close family ties, but he had an alibi for the night in question, and there was a lack of evidence against him. However, before the trial began, it was discovered that Mrs. Eleanor Mills' original autopsy report had been misplaced. Consequently, her body was exhumed, and a new autopsy was conducted. This resulted in a new grim discovery. On the night she was murdered, her tongue had been cut out. The trial eventually started on the 3rd of November 1926 in Somerville, New Jersey. It proved to be a great spectacle, attracting vast public and media attention. Mrs. Stevens Hall hired the best defence team available, led by Robert H. McCarter, a well-known and high-profile attorney. Testimonies from various witnesses painted a picture of jealousy, conspiracy, and a potential cover-up. Particularly compelling was the testimony of Jane Gibson, known as the Pig Woman, despite being terminally ill and brought to court.
That's the defense. That's what it would be. You got to discredit the witness. You got to discredit the main witness. This is what we're going to do. You got to discredit the main witness, which they were, because they were hot on her trail. You know, hot on Miss Hall's trail. I already know you did it. You know, we already know what it is. You have motive, and you carried it out. So we hot on your trail. So first of all, I'm gonna hire the best team because I got the money to do it. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. But cutting the tongue out, because she thinks she's a liar, and so Miss Mills is probably trying to tell her something. Oh, I know, I didn't mean to. I didn't this, I didn't that. And it's possible that the tongue got cut out because maybe there were conversations prior. Yeah, somebody sent me an email. Maybe there are conversations prior that she asked, "Are you be straight with me? Are you messing with my husband?" And she said, No. She's like, woman to woman, tell me the truth. If you were, would you tell me? I said, oh, absolutely. And then just let her go. And there's something about that not telling me that, and knowing that you're lying to me infuriates a woman of that stature. Will infuriate Miss Hall. Gonna lie to me in my face, and then you can go out here behind my back, you sneaky. That's what you're doing. And so that's why the tongue had to come out. I'm gonna drop it right there. Yo, this is crazy. I'm gonna drop it right there and I'm come back. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take it easy.